following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Cunningham has the first down, and Benny Cunningham has a touchdown for the Bears. Daniel with time, has a man, Kevin White. That'll make Bears fans happy. Touchdown, Chicago. For Wims, did he put both feet down? He did! Touchdown, Javon Wims!
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears on Tap. You just heard some of the first half highlights from the Chicago Bears' 27-20 win over the Kansas City Chiefs at Soldier Field. My name is Aldo Gandia, and with me to dissect the game and evaluate players is Bears Barroom scouting analyst Danny Shimon. Danny, I want to begin with what most Chicago Bears fans were debating prior to game time, and that was the decision by head coach Matt Nagy to not play most of the projected starters for this team in this game. There was one starter, though, who played quite a bit, and that was, of course, Javon Wims. Now, of course, he's not a starter, but he sure did show starter potential day, 114 yards and a touchdown. What did you think about Javon Wims?
I got to be honest, watching Javon Wims play, I feel like a proud dad, watching my son play, because as you know, and all the Barflies know, and all the other guys know, I was pounding the table for this kid during the pre-draft process. I loved him come out of Georgia. I've said many times over these airwaves that this kid is just tipping, his potential right now. He's still developing. He hasn't had much, experience in terms of playing wide receiver, former, high school basketball player, played 2 years of a year at JUCO school and then played 2 years at Georgia. And of course, this guy is just going to get better and better and better. And, what he showed us today is what I saw at tape at Georgia, an ability to possess the ball, strong hands, extend away from his frame, reel in the catch, terrific body control, able to contour and adjust to the throw, some good run after the catch. He's not the most fastest or niftiest guy, but he's strong and he's powerful after the catch. And that, of course, you saw today, he caught a ball and broke by 2 or 3 tackles and just went up the field for another 5 or 10 yards. So this kid, after the first preseason game, I already had him on the team. So, and to me, that this guy is a lock to make the team.
Yeah, there's no way they are not going to put this guy on the 53-man roster. He would never clear waivers. Every other team in the league, even if they're stacked at wide receiver, would probably claim this guy because he's displaying really true special talent, right?
Of course. I mean, this is he dropped in the pre-draft process mainly because he doesn't have that explosiveness that take the top off the defense kind of speed. And also he was dealing with some nicks and some injuries prior to the whole draft process. But the fact that he dropped to the 7th round really shocked me. And then from the get-go, I said this is a terrific pick by Ryan Pace and the Bears. This is going to be a guy that can go down as a really, really productive, possibly steal of the draft kind of player. In the 7th round. And I would not even chance putting him on waivers because you're right. Any team, we'll just pick him up and just put him on the 53-man roster because, even if they're stacked at receiver, you never know. Injuries happen, right? He'll come in and he can play. Another good thing about him is he played in a pro-style system at Georgia. So he ran some pro routes. So he's got these concepts down. That's why you'll see him making a quicker adjustment to the pro game as opposed to some other receivers that come in that are playing mainly spread systems at college or playing like a hybrid / spread / pro style system in college. So Javon Wims is a kid that I expect to be on the 53-man roster, and I expect to be playing significantly for the Bears this season.
Badge 40 in the chat room says Wims has earned a roster spot without a doubt. LB Papa says a effing lock. And let's listen to, we're going to cut in a couple of times during the game. We're going to borrow material from the Chicago Bears Twitter site. This is Laura Screeden talking with Javon Wims minutes after the game. Let's see what he said.
Lauren Screeden here with Javon Wims. Few big catches today. Topped it off with your first NFL touchdown. How'd it feel?
I felt amazing. It was everything I could imagine.
I'm surprised you're not still holding on to the football.
Oh, I have it. I tucked it away. It's safe and sound right now.
Okay, you're not giving that one back.
Oh, no. I'm going to get that one to my mama.
Playing here at Soldier Field, was it everything you dreamed of?
Oh, absolutely. The fans amazing. My teammates, coaching staff, everything was just right.
The offense was really clicking today. What'd you like that you saw from your guys?
All us, offense, defense, special teams, all 4 phases, everybody went out there and we competed. And, we competed all week in practice, and then when we got a chance out here, everybody, stepped up and made plays.
Thanks, Javon. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
Stacy Hefner, who just joined us in the chat room, says that he is, of course, a lock, and that she loved that pick when they drafted him, just like you did, Danny. Danny, go ahead, Danny. You had a thought?
No, I said thank you. She has great scouting. She has great scouting mind.
There you go, Stacy. You want to join our scouting team? You can work with Danny there. I want to talk about this issue about not playing the starters and get your take on it. First, I want to read a couple of comments that were made on Twitter prior to the game. First, Dan Pompei, the Hall of Fame NFL writer, wrote, "Bears are not playing their starters. I don't like it a bit. Football players need to play football to get better at playing football. You can be smart about trying to minimize injuries, but not scared. It sends the wrong message to players and to the fans who bought tickets." Mike Golick from ESPN replied, "With the Hall of Fame game, the Bears are playing their 4th preseason game already and have an extra week of work as well. I have no issue with what they are doing at all." And our very own Mike North said that Trubisky has taken 35 snaps all preseason and won't play for 20 days up to the Green Bay game, and he has only 25 career starts, college and pro. A new offense. So I disagree with you, Mike Golick. Besides, you're a Browns fan, Mike. So, Danny, what is your take on this issue that has been a hot topic among barflies and Bears fans throughout the internet?
I mean, Dan Pompei said it, to the T right there. That's exactly how I feel as well. Aldo, this is a new trend that a lot of NFL teams have started to adapt over the last couple of seasons. Even last preseason, a lot of teams have rested their starters or their first team players for their 3rd quote unquote dress rehearsal preseason game. And it's a trend. I understand why they're doing it, but I just like Dan said, this to me signifies or shows a coaching staff that's coaching scared. Football is a full contact sport. 300-plus highly athletic men banging bodies, banging heads into each other play after play. You cannot avoid injuries. Injuries are part of the game. And then, to go back to Mike Golick's tweet, the Bears have 5 preseason games, but their starters didn't play that first game either. So we're talking about here is guys like Trubisky and Kyle Fuller and Cody Whitehair. A lot of guys. This is a new system on offense that they have to get their plays down, their technique down, and get a feel for the system. And then on defense, there's with this new tackling rule coming into effect. Guys got to start tackling. Guys got to be able to now know how to avoid getting penalties, and just you only do that through live play action. I don't care how well they practice or how long they practice. They're going against their own teammates. When I played football and I was practicing against my teammates, I wouldn't go 100%. I mean, because that's my teammate. I'm going to need this guy to play on Friday night, And same thing here. These guys are not going to go full out and tackle these guys to the ground and secure a tackle. So, it would not surprise me that, the first couple weeks of the season, we see a lot of missed tackles on defense because of the fact that these guys just haven't had live tackling. So I understand why he did it, but I wholeheartedly disagree with the whole concept of sitting players, especially for a 3rd preseason game where now they're going to basically be 2 weeks or so, before they actually face live, another opponent in the Packers on Sunday night. So they've played a half of football in 3 weeks, basically the starters have. So I just don't agree with it. You might not want to play them for 3 quarters. Play them for a half, play them for a quarter and a half, but just get them out there, get those. That live tackling and get the blocking, the signal calling, especially for Mitch, like I think it was Mike North that said, he's had only 13 college starts. He had 12 starts last season, so he had 35 snaps in this preseason. He's in a new offense. I don't get why. I understand why, but I don't agree with sitting these starters.
4803 in the chat room says that Nagy's decision for no reps for the starters will still be the hot topic till September 9th. And Badge 40 says starters should have had some reps no matter how good they've looked in practice.
The thing is, you cannot guarantee, you can avoid injuries. I mean, all these players that sat out today in hopes of avoiding major injury, there's no guarantee that they won't get hurt in the first quarter of the Packers game. So it's just that football is a full contact sport. Injuries are a part of the game, and injuries are going to happen. You just got to be well prepared to deal with them and just move on.
LB Papa says, I'd rather be healthy versus the opposition than one of our star players injured for the year. Remember what happened to Cam Meredith? And Hair Bear chimes in with a similar opinion. He says, I like the decision. Nagy must have confidence in his starters. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. It is going to be a hot topic. I don't care. It is going to be a hot topic. If the Bears blow that game against the Packers and look bad fundamentally, then we will think back to this game. 20 days before the game, those players could have had an opportunity to do some live tackling against some quality competition, and Coach Nagy did bypass that. And Danny, to your point, Lindsey Theory, who covers the Rams for ESPN, says the Rams will not play their starters on offense today against the Texans. Their starting defense, though, will play, but not their offense. So you're right, this is a trend, and it seems to be coming mostly from this new group of head coaches.
Yep, and the two things I'm going to look at opening day, I'm going to look at missed tackles on defense. I'm going to look at penalties on offense, right? Holding, formation penalties, false starts, so on and so forth. Again, those are all part of the game, but you work on these during the preseason. And I don't care how good you have it down in practice. It's different when the bullets are flying for real on an NFL field, in a NFL stadium, with officiating and all that stuff going on. It's different, and I just feel, again, I'm not saying play them the whole game. I'm not saying play them for 3 quarters. Play them for at least a half. Get them going. Get that blood flowing. Get that that experience, those reps down in real games. So, I agree. I know why he did it. I just don't agree with it.
LB Papa again chimes in. He says that if we beat the Packers September 9th, then none of this will matter, and he is absolutely right. Maybe this is a new trend. Maybe this will work. But I'll tell you one thing. The National Football League needs to rethink this whole preseason. If you're going to have teams playing 4 or 5 preseason games, and you're only going to see starters play a handful of downs, and you're charging full prices for those tickets, you are really making a mistake with how you sell this product. It's time for the National Football League to shorten the preseason schedule. It's time for the National Football League to add a week of regular season play or expand the playoffs by a week. It's time to get with it, because this is unacceptable from a fan standpoint. No matter how you fall on this issue on whether the starters should have played or not, this preseason is somewhat of a wreck for the National Football League. It's not a good look. Okay, Mr. Danny Shimon, what I'd like to do is dissect some of the series of particularly the first half, and get your comments on what you saw, what you liked, and so forth. And then I will break in. If we do get Coach Matt Nagy at the podium, I will break in so that we can hear what he's got to say. So let's start first with that first series. The Bears scored on a 60-yard, 6-play series, and the touchdown was scored by Benny Cunningham on a 13-yard run for the touchdown. I thought that I saw that Draft Dr. Phil was tweeting about some of the offensive line not blocking well, in particular James Daniels at the center position and so forth. But I thought that the blocking was acceptable. Maybe not so much the run blocking, but the pass protection was good. And then we also saw some really good blocking downfield by tight ends and wide receivers. What did you think of that first drive?
Yeah, I mean, what I to start off by saying, I think I owe a mea culpa to Chase Daniels, because after that first preseason game, I kind of questioned how this guy has made a career of being a backup. But I mean, these last 2 games, he's really, I've seen him play more, obviously. And what he does is there's nothing spectacular about him, right? But he's a smart kid, and he knows the offense inside out, and he takes what the defense gives him. And he led the Bears on 3 straight long drives. I believe each one was like 8, 9, and 7 play drives. So what he does well is he does the check down. He goes to his reads. he doesn't mind taking what the defense gives him. So the perfect example was that throw to Benny Cunningham, that 13-yard touchdown, that 13-yard touchdown run to Benny Cunningham. But he had some other plays on the drive where he just checked down and took the 2-3 yard dump offs and just slowly, methodically moved the team up the field. In terms of the offensive line play, I agree with Phil. I was looking at specifically Daniels at center and Coward at right tackle, and although both had good moments in the game, they also showed some I don't know if you want to call it inexperience or whatnot. Coward a couple times he gave up some pressures because he got out of his stance a bit too high and got bull rushed back into the pocket, causing the quarterback, Daniels in this case, to have to scramble. Even though he picked up positive yards, he just had to cut his reads short and just take off and run. I think Daniels also had the center had a holding call on a drive there. But overall, I think what I like about this Bears offense, and specifically the way Matt Nagy calls his plays, is that he calls one play to set up the next play, which is how these top-minded offensive coordinators do that. So, and what I mean by that is you'll see one play run out of multiple formations, which keeps the defense on their heels, doesn't really give them a telltale in terms of what's coming. It could be the same run play, it could be the same pass play, it could be the same concept, but it's coming out of the different formations. And if you notice that, you'll see multiple tight ends, you'll see multiple receivers. It's all over the field, and it's a lot of formations, a lot of shifting, and so on and so forth. So that's something that was promised with a Matt Nagy-led offense, and that's something that we're seeing so far in the preseason.
Okay, Matt Nagy is at the podium. My computer, that little annoying wheel is spinning around saying, I'm going to make you wait. So as soon as
that guy.
Yeah, I hate that damn wheel. As soon as the wheel stops turning, we'll see if we can get to some Nagy quotes on this. But I'm going to tell you that in the chat room, we've got Hair Bear says that Andy Reid said Matt Nagy gave him a heads up yesterday as he was getting on the plane that he wasn't playing his starters. And Andy Reid said that was probably a smart call on his part, and that's via Adam Hogue. So Andy Reid may be thinking.
But yeah, Andy Reid played all his starters, so I don't.
Yeah,
how's that?
Into the third quarter.
Right.
So that was interesting. And let's see. So okay, let's move on to the second series. I'm looking at my little wheel; it's still spinning. Man, oh man. Technology, you just can't rely on it. It's like a girlfriend. Just kidding, girlfriends.
I'm not touching that one. I'm staying back.
Okay, now the second series. Actually, let's go to the first series of the Kansas City Chiefs. They marched the ball downfield. I think it was a 4-play, 75-yard drive in about 4 minutes, and Mahomes ended up throwing to Kareem Hunt, a 19-yarder for the touchdown. The Bears got caught in a blitz, and Hunt burned them for
I think it was that was a coverage breakdown. I think from looking at the tape and replay again, I think DeAndre Hall had to his responsibility was to grab that back coming out of the backfield. And I think with the blitz and then the route crossing in front of him, I think that kind of caught his vision, and I think he just forgot about the running back coming out of the backfield. Again, I'll just have to go back and look at the coach's tape, but in terms of just a replay on TV, it just looked like it was a coverage breakdown, and to do that because Hall again played. I think he started at safety today, and he comes up and he does a real good job in terms of supporting the run and being a sure tackler. And I know he had a missed tackle on the opening drive of the third quarter, but in that first drive going back, that Tyreek Hill end around. He saved a touchdown there because Hill had pretty much if he breaks free from DeAndre Hall, he's in for a long touchdown. So, so in all in all, I think it was a pretty bad first drive for the defense, but in all, they played well considering that they're playing against the KC starters, first team offense for most of that first half, and then they held them to 10 points at halftime. So
that is correct.
I think it was a very good, strong showing for the Bears. Number 2 unit, not the number 1 unit. So I was very encouraged by the defensive effort this afternoon.
the Bears get the ball back, and they go on a 9-play, 77-yard drive to take a 14-7 lead. The Bears really took advantage there of some penalties by the Kansas City Chiefs that kept their drive alive, and then it all culminated with a 29-yard touchdown pass, Daniel, to Kevin White, who scored his very first touchdown with the Chicago Bears here in year 4, and it's a preseason game, here in year 4 of his career. Tell me about Kevin White.
Oh, I know Kevin White's been a hot topic for a lot of us here at the bar room in terms of should he make the team, should he be given a chance, blah blah blah. And I've been, not on his bandwagon, but I've been saying all along that Kevin White, really he's on his team because there's no one else behind him that's going to be challenging him for a roster spot. So as of right now, the Bears are not counting on him to be a big producer on offense. Whatever they get out of him is extra. It's gravy. But he did a nice job today. He had a couple receptions, and that on that touchdown pass. I mean, he was wide open, and Daniel's kind of short-armed the ball, and he had to come back and get it. And unfortunately, that's his first ever Bears scoring touchdown. Like I said, in 4 seasons now. So, but I think Kevin White is on this team. Obviously, I think he's a lock as well. I think whatever they get out of him is going to be extra to what they've already added on offense. So I think we can stop the whole conversation: is Kevin White going to make this team or not? I think if it wasn't a sure thing prior to today's game, I think today's game kind of sealed his fate.
Indeed. Badge 40 says congratulations to Kevin White, and hopefully he does something in the regular season. I agree. Now, regarding that second series by the Bears, James Daniels was called for an offensive holding, so the penalties just weren't on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bears had to overcome that offensive holding penalty that made it a 2nd and 18, and fortunately Daniels was able to scramble for 12 yards, and then he hit Ben Braunecker for a 22-yard pickup, two big plays after the James Daniels holding penalty. You talked a little bit about Daniels. You said you were looking at him closely. Overall, are you concerned about his development taking a little longer than we would like?
I'm not. No, I mean, to me, the guy looks like a natural center. Mm-hmm. I know that this past week the Bears started giving him reps over at left guard, mm-hmm. and I think that was their plan originally to come in is to make him a guard. But to me, the kid looks like a natural center, and if they want to play him at guard just to start off the season, or just to be a guy who could swing both, play a guard and center. I'm not sure if he's going to start. I don't think he's being Eric Kush for that job just yet at guard. But I know the Bears want to go with white-haired center, and I think they're going to have Daniels be the primary backup at both center and left guard. But to me, he's a young, promising player. Love him coming out of college. He's another Iowa offensive lineman that eventually is going to become a starter in this league and is going to play for a long time, in my opinion. Athletically, he's very gifted for a guy that big, and he moves well. I know he was caught today a little bit late and ended up reaching and holding. But in terms of athletically over at center, he's a guy that has no problem handling speed or strength-wise. He has to get a little bit bigger and more stronger in his base. But in terms of athletically, he's a pretty good center. And I think eventually, when he moves into that starting position, he's going to be there for a long time.
Now the Chiefs get the ball back after the Kevin White touchdown, and this is late in the first quarter, and Patrick Mahomes completes a pass to Travis Kelce for 26 yards. Mahomes a short pass to Tyreek Hill for 4 yards. Mahomes a deep pass to Hill for 16 yards, and so the Chiefs in those first 3 plays of this drive are moving the ball at will, and Fangio decides to say enough is enough, and he starts to blitz Patrick Mahomes. 2 of the next 3 plays were blitzes, and Mahomes got rattled. He was forced out of the pocket. He threw inaccurately, and the Chiefs were able to get a field goal out of it, but those blitzes came in handy and were effective at rattling the young quarterback. Do I got a good read on that?
You do, and that's exactly. I was watching the game, and I said, all right, here comes Fangio. Fangio's like, all right, this is enough. Let's bring these guys, So, and this is why I wanted Trubisky to play. Stuff like this, Mahomes is going to take this tape now and see that, hey, you know what, these blitzes kind of caught him off guard, and it kind of, like you said, rattled him a little bit. Stuff like this is what Trubisky needs to see as well. Unexpected coverages, and blitzes coming off the edge, blitzes coming up straight up the middle in his face. How he adjusts to this, to be prepared for the regular season. So, Mahomes is in a similar situation as Mitch. Actually, he has even less experience in terms of NFL starts. So that's probably why Andy Reid started him for the game and played him through 3 quarters. So it's something that I hope the Bears don't lean on in terms of blitzing, because as we mentioned earlier, they got caught in that blitz on a touchdown for the first quarter, the first drive by the Chiefs. So, but that's why. I've been saying all preseason and even into the offseason, Leonard Floyd and those outside pass rushers are very important. Akeem Hicks and any pressure up in the middle is very important, because that would negate the need for Fangio to blitz and bring extra men when you can get there with your front 4, front 5 guys. So that's something that it's still a concern for me until we see Leonard Floyd out there continuously bringing pressure, or someone continuously bringing pressure from the outside to help Akeem Hicks on the inside. That pass rush is going to be a concern for me until I see someone step up and take over and say, hey, what guys, we don't need extra blitzes, we don't need extra guys. We're coming with our 4 or 5 guys up front.
Matt Nagy says in the press conference, and I appreciate Chris Trier posting this, Matt Nagy says, we're at almost 2,000 snaps in practice. For somebody telling me that 25 to 30 reps is going to make Mitch Trubisky better week 1, week 2, week 3, it's not going to happen. Danny?
I said earlier, I don't care how good you are at practice, but unless you're facing live competition, you're going up against an opponent, and you're actually, facing live bullets, to me, it's not the same. It's just not the same. You do not go at 100% at practice against your own teammate. I'm sorry, you just don't. So, like you said, this is something that's going to be a hot topic in Chicago. It's going to be discussed probably up until that Packers game. And if the Bears get off to a bad start this season, I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to, rightfully or wrongfully, they're going to point back to him not playing his starters, a majority of the snaps in the preseason as probably a result of the bad start. So for his sake and for Bears' sakes, Bears fans' sake, I hope this is not going to be a point of conversation in a week or two into the season, because the Bears are off to a 2-0 start, and this has long been a forgotten memory. But I just don't agree with it. I just don't.
Kudos again to the Chicago Bears social media department. They just posted on Twitter that they are the ones having technical difficulties getting the press conference up on Twitter, and they're working on it. And that's just classy that they are able to admit the problem is on their end and keeping their fans informed. That's the way you communicate.
So I think you owe an apology to your circle.
That's right. My computer and my internet infrastructure here. I'm sorry. All right, so let's talk now about, let's see what happened. So it's 14-10, and then the Bears get the ball back on their 3rd possession, and they matriculate downfield 91 yards on 7 plays in just 3.5 minutes, and everything culminates with the Javon Wims 70-yard touchdown pass. The control the kid had in the end zone to get both feet inbounds, that just looks so veteran, because of course in college you only need to get 1 foot down. This kid got both feet down in that end zone like he's been doing it since he was 2 years old, huh?
Right. That was very impressive. Again, we're talking about body control, the ability to extend away from his frame to reel on the ball with strong hands to secure the ball, and like you said, and then to have the ability to toe tap and get his both feet inbounds and get the touchdown. I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. I know he doesn't have burner speed, but this kid is just a playmaker, and is somebody that I think the Bears have been missing on the outside for a while now. I mean, he's got the potential, and I'm not going to say he's going to be Brandon Marshall, but he's got that type of potential to develop into a Brandon Marshall type of receiver.
Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that on this series, he had that 54-yard reception. That was the key play of the drive, and it came on a 3rd down and 6, so that was pretty awesome.
The kid is just impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
he really is.
In terms of body size, strong hands, his slant routes, he does a nice job of blocking out, kind of like a rebounder, if you will, box out the defender on his back and give the quarterback his chest so that way he can get the ball on those slant routes. So, I mean, the kid, to me, again, I've been singing his praises for a long time. I think I'm just repeating myself now, but as you guys all know, I love the kid. Wait till my second son gets on the field, Anthony Miller. then you guys are going to be really impressed.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to see Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson, and Javon Wims on the field together, along with.
And we saw Taylor Gabriel today for a snap, right? We saw him he got the first pass.
That's right. When you consider, Taylor Gabriel and the pass catching ability of Tariq Cohen and Trey Burton, what he's going to do. Back to the game, the momentum shifted in the game after that. The Bears had blitz Mahomes. Wims comes back, scores the touchdown, and then all of a sudden the defense just started clamping down on the Chiefs, and you can just almost feel that the second-string defense was going to have its way with the Chiefs the rest of the way, and they, for the most part, pretty much did. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, up front, the guys that impressed me were obviously Isaiah Irving. There were a couple of times where he got caught inside, didn't do a good job of containing the outside edge, but he made up for it on subsequent plays, crashing down hard on a run and tackling the running back from the side there. So Isaiah Irving, I think, obviously is on the team. I think another kid who had a very good, impressive showing was the rookie Bilal Nichols. I think he continues to get better week in and week out. Mm-hmm. He is such a big guy that it's hard to miss. But what impresses me about him is that I thought he needed some time in terms of weight room development, to be able to stack and shed, maintain his position at the point of attack. But I mean, so far in his preseason, he's been doing a hell of a job, just getting there, shedding the blocker, and getting to the running back. So that's a really good sign for a kid who was drafted in the 5th round. So Bilal Nichols is a guy I'm really highly impressed on. Callie Fitz had a couple rushes today. Again, I don't know in terms of numbers game between him and my man Kasim who's gonna make the final roster, but I hope they have a chance to keep both those guys because I do like what I see from those guys as well. So overall, and the kid Nick Williams, number 97, kept popping today for me. Nothing fancy, right? Not even get after the quarterback or to get a sack or anything like that, but again, maintaining his ground, maintaining his position, eating up blockers. There was one play, I believe it was either him or Jonathan Bullard, held 2 blockers while our boy Iggy got in there through on a run play and just tackled the running back for a tackle for a loss. So definitely like seeing these young guys develop, these athletes, pop out on tape, pop out in games. So very, very encouraging signs for the Bears draft class.
Yep. And just to finish the commentary on the first half, on one play on defense, Crevon LeBlanc got beat badly by Sammy Watkins, but fortunately Mahomes overthrew him. But I'm a little bit worried about LeBlanc's ability to cover on the outside. If he's not inside, I think he becomes a liability for the most part.
Yeah. That was an up and go, two-way go. So I think what happened was Watkins just lost him, and he was lucky that Mahomes overthrew him. LeBlanc is made to be playing inside at a slot, a nickel corner. He's not an outside cornerback.
And the Bears finished the first half with a 48-yard field goal by Cody Parkey, and that was good to see. Clearly the conditions at Soldier Field were not bad, and they're not what he's going to see in October, November, December, but it was good that he nailed one from 48 yards. Had to be good for his confidence. Would you not agree on that, huh?
Hopefully that settles down Shane a little bit. I don't mean Shane run the edge here with Cody Parkey, but I mean it just appears like anything 50 and shorter, he's good. But when you get to that magic mark of 50 and higher, he's a little shaky. So that's not good news, But like I said, it was kind of semi-perfect conditions today, not too much wind. So, but I think I'm there with Shane. I'm kind of leery of Mr. Parkey here. So he's got to prove some more to me before I feel comfortable with our kicking situation.
Indeed. I asked our Barflies for comments after the first half. I want to get some of those in. AA Ron said, bear down, Wims and White and Bronacker on fire. Defense looks really good. Mahomes looking very average, all good in Swiggy Niggy's kingdom. Yeah, I have to say about Mahomes, because he was my favorite quarterback coming out of that class. He did not.
Last year, he was your favorite quarterback coming out of that class?
Yeah, he was.
What?
Yeah.
Over Deshaun Watson?
Yep.
Wow.
I still worry about Deshaun Watson's penchant for throwing interceptions. I mean, he threw quite a bit last year. Everybody was talking about how great he was, but he threw a lot. I think, 7 interceptions in the 4 or 5 games he had? That's quite a bit. And so I I got a feeling he's going to prove me wrong and he's going to go out to be a great quarterback, but I still think that Mahomes has that kind of it factor, that Brett Favre gunslinger mentality, and unfortunately today he didn't show us any of that. He looked kind of lost there against the second string defense, so maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Air Jer said that Kevin White's first ever NFL touchdown was awesome. Daniels had some good and some bad fugly moments. Michael Burton is just plain bad at football. Juice swims. Great game. Chase Daniel MVP. Trey Busy, Javon Wims is better than some of the receivers that went ahead of Anthony Miller. Great comment, Trey. I agree with you. I think that it could end up being proven true once the season is over, or maybe 2 or 3 years from now when we see a culmination of some results here from these guys. What do you think about Trey's comment there about Wims maybe being better, some of the receivers taking ahead of Miller?
Well, I mean, it definitely could happen. My only concern about Wims is he has a tendency to get hurt, nicked up, whether it's a hamstring, a foot, a knee, so on and so forth. As long as he stays healthy and he stays on this upward trend that we're seeing right now in the preseason, like I said, I compared him, coming out of college to a Brandon Marshall type, a guy who can develop into a Brandon Marshall type of receiver. So obviously, that's a high caliber Pro Bowl, all pro receiver type. So, I might be drinking the Javon Wims Kool-Aid, but man, I'm telling you, this kid was one of my. I couldn't believe that he dropped to the 7th round to the Bears. So I have no problems with that, and I'm rooting hard for this kid, obviously.
Yep. Michelle K said that it amazes me how this second-string offense looked better than anything Fox called last year. Michelle K might have the tweet of the week. That is awesome.
Oh, man. Well, in all fairness, it wasn't Fox. It was Dowell who was playing his Madden. He's skipping. He's probably getting his playbook from Madden. It looks like, as I don't know what he was calling at times. But yeah, I think that was a Dowell Loggins-led offense.
I agree. I mean, I think that Fox, though, gets a lot of the blame because of his conservative nature. I think he dictated to Dowell Loggins that you are just going to call run plays or you're going to have a very conservative offense. And it hamstrung Dowell. Now, I hate to be defending Dowell Loggins because clearly,
and don't do it.
Okay, I'll stop there. I'm not gonna defend him. Angry Bears fan said that Kevin White should have his confidence boosted from this game. What do you think about that, Danny? You think that Kevin?
Yeah, that touchdown was big for him. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the kid. I don't know how he's feeling, but you could just tell in his body language sometimes on the sidelines after like a couple games ago where he had dropped the ball and. The kid was lacking a little bit in confidence, so this should definitely boost him up. And he saw, as soon as he got to the sidelines, all his teammates propping him up and, high-fiving him and giving him chest bumps, and because they know, right, this is big for him. This is his first NFL touchdown, believe it or not. So it was a big moment for him. I'm happy for the kid. He's been through a lot. A lot of it's not his fault. It's just some freak injuries. So, this could be another Kyle Fuller situation. I was thinking through the game, like, if Kevin White stays healthy, if he has a good year, this could be another position where the Bears are saying, all right, we have a young receiver here, the 7th pick overall in the draft. Does another team come and pluck him off your roster, and do you let him go? You invested a lot of money into the receiver position, not only in terms of actual dollars, but also draft capital as well. So, if he has a good year and another team comes a calling, what do the Bears do? Do you keep him? Do you match it? So, interesting to see. I mean, we'll see how he develops, but definitely a good start, and hopefully this will help propel him into a very good season.
Chris Trier says that, who was it here? One of the reporters asked Orlando Scandrick in the locker room about the double move he bid on, resulting in Kevin White's first NFL touchdown and his impressions of the Bears' former first-rounder. And Scandrick said 0. It was more about what I did than what he did. So that came via Arthur Arkish. So Scandrick a little salty there.
A little bit salty, yeah. I mean, this guy's been cut a couple times, so.
Hey, Hair Bear agrees with me. Mahomes was his favorite too, and Watson his least favorite. Thank you, Hair Bear. I'm not the only one with that opinion. Badge 40 has a question for you. Will this Chicago Bears team carry a fullback or use one of their tight ends?
Personally, I don't know how Michael Burton makes this team. He's probably a great guy, but no secret here that I am not a big fan of him. Me and Phil have gone back and forth in terms of Ryan Nallins as far as running back forward, but I think fullback / H-back position would be a great spot to stash Ryan Nall. I know today on the broadcast they're talking about maybe him being on a practice squad, Nall that is. Mm-hmm. But I think if they want to stash him and not expose him to waivers, I think at fullback is a nice place to start. But if they do keep him, I'll be shocked if they keep Michael Burton. I think they will use a fullback because Nagy's offense last season in Kansas City used the fullback a number of times, a number of different formations. More so as a blocker than it is as a pass catcher. But they caught the ball a couple times there as well. So I think they do need a fullback. Will they keep a true fullback like Burton? I don't think so. I think they're either going to use a tight end / H-back or possibly a kid like Ryan Nall.
I wonder if Burton isn't paying the guys in the tape room to erase all of his bad plays so that the coaches don't notice that he's out there missing blocks and looking like a chicken with his head cut off. Because there's just so often Draft Dr. Phil is posting video of Burton just looking totally lost out there, and I'm wondering to myself, how can this guy still have a job with the Chicago Bears and even the NFL? I mean, it just, to my eye, this guy just doesn't belong.
Not only that, how about today's broadcast? I mean, Jim Miller, I respect him for his opinion in terms of quarterback play and analyzing quarterbacks, but he was singing its praises. Like this guy, he was the main reason why Cunningham scored that touchdown, or later on in the game, look, Burton's out there. The guy's just running. He's not even touching anybody, and he's giving him praises for bleed blocking. I'm like, what are you seeing? Like, I don't see the same thing, in terms of his effectiveness out on the field for Michael Burton. I don't see it, and I'm right there with Phil in terms of this guy. Many times he's been in there to block, and he's been blown back. So if you can't block, and that's your primary responsibility as a fullback to block, and you can't do it, I don't know how you have a job in the NFL as a fullback.
My man BM Heathcote asked the question, do you think there's any chance that Tyler Bray makes this football team?
No, I don't. But I do think he'll be a prime candidate for the practice squad. I think when you break down the roster and you get to certain spots where you may have to carry a young player just to fear of losing him to the waiver process, I think the third quarterback position is a spot where they're going to save that player and then expose Tyler Bray to waivers with hopes of getting him signed to the practice squad. So if, God forbid, there is an injury, they can easily pluck him off the practice squad. He knows the offense already. It'll be a smooth transition onto the active roster. So to answer your question, no, I don't think Bray makes the final 53, but I do expect him on the practice squad.
Very good. All right, so what other thoughts do you have about this game? How long are we? We've been on the air for 43 minutes, so let's start to wrap things up. Any final thoughts about the Chicago Bears win over the Kansas City Chiefs? Any other players that stood out to you that you want to share with our audience?
In terms of just going back to the beginning, how we were talking about some young players stood out, and to me, the star of the first half was the Bears' second-team defense going up against the KC starters, and the fact that they held them in check for the most part. I know they got helped here and there with some penalties, but I think that's a very encouraging sign. What that means is we're developing depth. We're developing players behind our starters that could actually come in and fill in the spots or the gaps if a player goes down or if a player's out for an extended period of time. So that's very encouraging. Offensively, obviously, I would like to see Trubisky in there. I like to see some of his weapons in there as well. But what I liked was the command that Chase Daniels has of the offense. This is going to be, I can't remember the last time I'm as comfortable with a backup quarterback as I am of Daniels. Again, nothing spectacular, but he knows the offense and he knows how to attack defenses. And it just seems like him and Nagy are on the same page here. So I'm very encouraged by the way he's led the offense. Again, tight ends are going to be a big part of this offense. So, and I like the explosiveness that Kevin White showed today, and my boy Javon Williams as well. So, offensive line still scares me. Although I think Coward, the right tackle, I think he's a guy that Bears were initially hoping to sneak on the practice squad, but man, I think he's playing too well to expose to waivers. So that's going to be interesting to see. I know Sewell went down today with an injury, so I don't know if that's been reported if it's serious or not. But if he's out for an extended period of time, that's going to be a way for him to make the 53-man roster. If not, that's good. If he gets through waivers, he's definitely a guy that's going to make the practice squad. But overall, and the offensive line still kind of worries me a little bit. And in terms of some of the young secondary guys, I hated losing DeAndre Houston-Carson to a broken forearm. Hopefully, he might be a guy that they might put on short-term IR, might bring him back during the season. But guys like DeAndre Hall, Deion Bush, there's opportunities for guys now to make the team because of that one open spot. So encouraging signs all around. Wish I'd seen some of the starters play, but like I said, what they're doing now is just developing some depth behind that first team, offense, and first team defense. That's very encouraging. Again, another negative is that pass rush. I still want to see a more consistent pass rush, namely from the outside linebacker spot. So something that we're going to have to look at the waiver wire, those final cuts. Maybe the Bears make a trade. Maybe the Bears make a pluck off someone else's roster. So to fill in the void out that outside pass rusher. So are we going to see Aaron Lynch play at all? Is he going to make his presence known? I know he's still dealing with an injury, but there's a guy I think they're counting on, and so far I think Isaiah Irving and kids like Kylie Fitz and Kasim and Abali are stealing the show.
Yeah, there is no official word out of the Chicago Bears about the injury to Sewell, but that did not look good. And if he is out for the season or any significant amount of time, then Rashad Coward has to make this team. Right. And he threw his helmet. Typically when a player throws his helmet, they know something bad happened. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens there. But, first of all, when I saw him play the first couple of games, Coward that is, I'm like, all right, this is a guy, prime candidate for the practice squad. But I think he's played, really well. That I think if they expose him to waivers, there's a chance he might get plucked. But again, he is a converted defensive lineman, so maybe some teams will not, go for him. But we'll see how that plays out. But that's a guy I think worth keeping, especially the fact that your starting right tackle, Bobby Massey, is entering his final year of his contract as well. So there's going to be some competition for that spot next season probably. Now, I got to tell you barflies out there, this is what's going to happen every Sunday night after a Bears game. It's going to be Danny Shimon and I on Bears on Tap talking Chicago Bears football. We're going to review the game. We're going to have roll-ins, interviews from the players and coaching staff. We're going to give you a solid 60-minute recap of the game that you can listen to live here on mixlr.com, and then it will be on your podcast stream for the morning drive, because we know on Mondays after the game, you want to listen to Bears talk. And how many times you turn on the radio, there's a commercial on, or they're talking about the Cubs or the Sox or curling or something like that. You want to hear Bears talk? Well, on Monday mornings on your podcast stream, it's going to be a replay of the live show. Danny Shimon and I will be breaking it down. We're going to be arguing too. We're going to have fist fights. I'm gonna smash him over the head with a chair. I'm gonna get him angry at me. I'm gonna call him names. No, none of that is going to happen. But we're definitely going to have fun. We're going to, and I can't, and you've been forewarned.
Wow. I'm going to get ready for a battle royal here.
You've been forewarned. I'm going to be one silly SOB. But we're going to have fun. And then later on Monday, of course, Bears Are Alive, the 60 to 180 minute talk fest by Draft Dr. Phil. He will not only break it down, but he will super break it down. So the Bears coverage of the Sunday game is going to be extensive. And then those games where I think they've got one Monday night game and one Thursday night game, we will adjust our schedule accordingly. So, Danny, I extend my hand. We are partners for the season. I am looking forward to it. Are you going to have fun with me or what?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to have fun and apparently get hurt, it sounds like. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a very entertaining season for this year for the Bears.
Yes, indeed. All right, folks. Remember, if you drink, please do not drive, and always bear down.
Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now.